Okay, welcome. So this is gonna be a very short introduction to the last song posted on the channel. I just, I've posted in a few places, and I'm getting this repeated feedback of, "There's no way you've done this." Oh, I sure you use AI or so, a lot of let's call it a lack of faith statements. So here I am. On one hand, thank you for making me doing this. On the other hand, fuck you for making me doing this. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through the stuff as it shows up in the song. There's really a lot of things, and if I went in depth in every single one of them, then we would be having a few hours of video at least, and I don't intend to edit it in any way. This is just gonna be one shot, go through all the stuff and call it a day. Because when you do every single thing on your own, mixing, mastering, it gets busy. Ain't nobody got time for this. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. In beginning, we hear three things. We have the quote from the movie Jubilee. Who made it? Had it open. It's from 1968. I think it was Jarman. I'll link all the things in the description whenever I have doubts of something or I don't remember where I took certain thing. Then yeah, you will find it probably in the description below. Hopefully the DMCA gods won't be too mad for yoking the quote, but it was a very nice quote. Every single quote comes from this movie, so yeah. We haven't really done. I haven't done. Yeah, there it goes. I haven't really done anything spectacular to this. All we have in this quote.
Fuck off! Here goes any case.
Slightly
On human rights.
To get rid of the lowest frequencies. Multiband coloring, you will see this almost everywhere because I just discovered this recently. I will find out who made it and I will link to it because it's free and it's a nice tool. It's basically a bunch of drum buses and some multiband compression stuck on a few macros. Okay, gives a really neat sound. And then utility, just gain control and mono bass obliterate for yeah, we're gonna get to that later. If we get to it, it's just to do a little bit crashing here and there. Autofilter comes in later in automation. We're gonna get there later too. Soften to get rid of some of the low quality stuff in the audio because I couldn't be asked to just do the noise compression. I probably should have, but never mind. Limiter, I don't think it even does anything at this point. I just put it there for the safety issues, to not get it too loud. And I shoved some of the higher frequencies to make it a little bit less harsh. In the background, we also have this droning sound. It was from one of the Ableton's releases. I will just post the link in the description again. It's just there to give this a little ambience and to glue stuff together throughout the song. And the third thing are the pads. The pads, it uses a preset from Pigments, Voices from the Past. I did some changes to it, but I don't remember at all what I've done with it. So you're gonna have to, this is where you start if you want a similar sound. And there's gonna be some automation going on throughout the song. Actually, quite a bit. I don't know if I'm guys, I'm sorry to say, but if I'm going to go, if I'm going to go through every single thing and stuff that changes over time, we're gonna spend an eternity here. So we don't want to do that. We're just gonna get the rough idea of how it went. So this is just a single note. It changes later to different notes, but for now it's just this one simple long note playing. Utility, gain control, slightly more width. Again, multi-band coloring, same stuff, clipper, same stuff, a little bit of EQ to shot of the high and low end. Autopan, it actually will probably sound better if we just do this. Although it might not be the bestest idea because it's already automated, huh? Okay, screw that. Autopan to get it a little bit more on the side because you won't hear it much, but over time, as you see, stuff will be going places, and it will be going places in quite a unsynced manner, so that gives a somewhat interesting sound. And then we have the echo, which really helps with adding some background ambience and some wild stuff, like the things that's... maybe I should just play it. You'll notice this sound that comes like from the higher frequencies, this like oh, this thing, yeah, that's right here. That's the echo, just bumping up some of the highest frequencies and doing absolutely funky stuff to it. And then a little bit of delay and more autopanning for even more movement. Like, let's see if we turn it all off, you suddenly have a very different sound, right? It's quiet and not too powerful. And you just add some movement, add some stuff. The clipper is amazing. Like, this simple saturation trick will really... yeah, this thing is crazy. It's just a very simple trick to make things sound louder without actually them overpowering the mix, but you also have to be careful, because if you get too much saturation, then I probably have too much saturation, to be honest, but who gives a fuck. Okay, so these were the 3 things that we had, and I think the next thing that shows up is the bass line. The bass line, hold up, let me turn off the solo from this, and let's focus on the bass. This is pretty simple bass line, like with the filter basically opening up throughout. Yeah, we have automated filter, so it just slowly gains the upper frequencies to make this opening up effect. And then we have the same shit with the filter and a very slight change. Squeeze it all throughout the timeline and basically just some volume. There's this one spot where the pitch goes down to like get this... it's just before a break, I wanted to kinda slow it off, and turning down the pitch is a good way to do that, I would say. Okay, Anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, we just slightly a reverb at the end to make it tail. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just the same notes going all the time. Not much changes there at all. Okay. And the next thing, I'm probably gonna go through the first part of the drums because that's how they show up. Okay, so kick. I am using the most basic as techno set. It's enabled on by default, I believe. If not, then feel free to correct me. It's pretty simple. It's just a basic kick, and I added a little bit of very quiet dub to accent the first kick of the beat. Every single thing that's here is basically automated a little bit. If you can see in controls, there's this LFO that changes it very slightly. Volume, pitch, panning, and filter over time so that it allows for every kick to sound a little bit different, but samey enough so that it doesn't go all over the place. Other than that, basically, again, same thing. Controlling gain, getting bass to mono, adding some multiband stuff, saturating. There wasn't really a much place to saturate it after this, because this is fucking spectacularly loud. I unfortunately had to do the thing that you probably shouldn't do, which is like cutting the frequencies like very, very aggressively, because it was around like the 5k, between the 2.5 and 5k. It had to get this, like, I don't even know how to describe it, this like plasticky sound, it started to get a little bit too weird, especially in the context of the whole thing. So yeah, we have done a little bit of cheating here. And what's with the automation? Not much, honestly. I think there's just one place that I wanted to pick it up a little bit. Anything here? Yeah, the one thing about using this pad, there's a lot of stuff to go through if you want to automate something. Unfortunately, yeah, there's only a little bit of overdrive automation here, so nothing really important. And over the track, we are automating the volume so that it fits the rest of the song. So it's neither, too much kick or too little kick, because as you see, I've made a lot of like segments. I mean, they really made themselves, honestly. I was just, following the sounds more or less. But in order to make it sound like somewhat cohesive throughout the song, this is unfortunately a little bit of necessity to automate the volumes, so you don't go deaf when, the background sounds are going off for a second and the drums stay on the same level and suddenly you're hearing them very, very loudly. We don't want that. Okay. So basically it's very similar for all the rest. We have the very simple clap here. I specifically didn't want any reverb or delay on a kick on clap, because there's a lot of that in the shakers and the hi-hats that we're gonna show in a second. Yeah, basically what we're going on through with the rest of the drums is just mixing the volume and using the Autofilter to give it a little bit of movement in the places that we want them to. For example, if the thing is going down, we want it to also go down a little bit, right? You know, whenever there's this sudden drop or you want to, you know, hide something a little bit, just shaving off the high frequencies is a decent way to do that. Okay, what else? So we have the claps. Basically the rest of this is just, you know, boring stuff. Just basic MIDIs with very simple, nothing rhythmically weird. Like the kick and the clap is just your basic, how do they call it? Kick on the floor, right? The 4 and 2. Okay, never mind. Let's leave that up. This is the thing that I found quite randomly, and you know, it's fun thing to do when you are making any music in Ableton. Just like get these things and just tilt them fuck up and fuck down. See what they do, because sometimes you can get into very interesting places. For example, this was just a simple kick. And then we did this. Hey. And there's not much here, except I again added auto panning, since that helps a lot with dividing in between in the stereo field. A little bit more width. We're gonna get to this. I think we're gonna get to this. I'm not sure. We'll see how much time it takes, but there's an automation from the envelope of bass, I believe, that I've done on a lot of the instruments and drums. I think I did it on hi-hats and other things too, when basically the sound of the bass is modulating the balance of this particular kick or hi-hat in the future. But we'll get there, or not. I don't promise anything. And this is something we have automated. Again, man, it's really ridiculous. Like when you think about it, when you watch people who stream and talk about it, it's always, and we did this, we did that. Well, I did, in a sense. It's weird, but it's kind of automatic. Like when you know, oh, well, we did this, we did that. Whatever. Going on the tangent again, instead of focusing on the thing. So great. We have the dub, and the automation on the dub is adding, yeah, these three basically were used on the quote, I believe. No, oh my god, this is gonna go places, right? Because what I did was, in order to get this built up, holy fuck, now that's gonna be messy. We're going, see, like I can't just go how it shows up, because then we're kind of getting lost. Okay, you know what? Screw that. We're gonna go back to this later. Let's keep up with the original idea of just going by the things as they show up, because we're gonna get lost. Okay, I'm just gonna stuck with we. Screw that. Okay, so then we finally start getting some, and let me turn off the solo here. Then we're getting into the I called it Egypt because, as you can see, we're in the A Phrygian key. Technically, we're into A Phrygian dominant, which uses a little, just slight change in the keys it uses. But yeah, this is the trippy keys, and it's again pigments. We're doing a lot of pitch modulation as it goes, so that's why it's here. It's also a preset from Pigments, Hyperial. Also did some changes here. Guys, I cannot, for the love of God, remember every single thing I did here, so I just, I go in, I tweak things. If it sounds fine-ish in the context of what I want to do, then I just leave it there. Same shit, utility, multibands, clippy, EQ. There's a little bit of, what is it, shaper, I believe. Is it shaper? Shifter, mi scusi. Shifter to give it a little bit of weirdness, if you will. Soften again to get rid of some harshness, and the delay to make it make the tail a little bit longer. And as it goes, it progresses a little bit. Here's this like simple melody. Excuse the breaks, my CPU is kinda choking. You see, so when you listen to it solo, it sounds kinda dirty, but when it's mixed together with the rest of the thing, it sounds just fine. You don't hear the harshness so badly. Okay, yeah, just like the naming is it's weird. Like, I watch some of the tutorials and the mixers do, and they say, oh, we should label it this one, this two. It's very orderly. I just go with the things that come to mind when I actually do this. So like if I want to, for example, this, I try to make it sound a little angry. Yeah, I'd say ish, angry-ish, but it works. Okay, so we have here, we've missed some of the quotes. There's this little simple effect that I use to mark the swap in the pitch that is going to happen in that particular place. I should have probably made it a little bit more loud, because it's just a riser, then duplicated and reversed, and you get this whoosh kinda from that. Should have probably make it a little bit more louder, but that's fine. Oh, and we can go probably to the Obliterate. Yeah, that's the fine point to do that. That's another free plugin, kinda useful if you want to make things sound weird.
It's like pornography! Better than the real thing.
It really just like there's a lot of presets you can sift through it. If you want to make something to sound like really weird or basically break a sound, this is where you go to. Okay, where were we? Okay, so the next thing probably, yeah, the second part of the song. Okay, just so you have the... I forgot how this rhythm was called. I forgot. Mi scusi again. It's from some sort of Latin. music, I believe. Tresillo is for sure from Latin music. I mean Latin. You know, I'm not gonna try to be smart about it. I just, you know, looked up some cool rhythmical sequences that could work well together. Honestly, these two, you can hear them a lot if in stuff that even plays in radio, but sometimes it's used in quite a, how would you say that? Never mind. It's used in ways that aren't obvious, you know, because right here I'm using it just in a single instrument, right? So sometimes you can do the funky stuff and combine the same rhythm while using different instruments to keep it up. That's something that I'm gonna certainly try in future, but for now we are going to the second bass line, I believe. And for that, for the first one, I think I forgot to mention that. Let me go here. This is from Ableton Shaznover bassline, which has, you know, a lot of things that come in Ableton. It's very simple to like use these macros to do some fun stuff with it. But I mean, you can do the same stuff with any other synth you have. For example, I have pigments here, and you can just use the configure tab and then click stuff in it, and it will show up here as something that you can then easily use to automate other stuff. This is another preset slightly changed. Nervous bass. So what I did here is gonna come in two parts. First is this like short one, and then it goes on continually in the later part. What I also did is took a second, basically copied the same bass and added some automation so that the panning changes every time you have this hit to make it a little bit more in your face, if you will, because it's rather silent part of the song, not much is happening, so I wanted to give it a little bit more attack, if you will. Okay, so then we go into this. Yeah, we just basically changed the one long node in the pad into two different ones, and these are the two notes that the Phrygian dominant key is like the most famous from. We have what? B sharp and C sharp. Look, when it comes to like the technicalities and like calling the musical theory, like don't ask me for that. I use very simple terms, okay? I've been doing this for like, I don't know, half a year with no previous knowledge in music or playing anything really, so you gotta bear with me here. And okay, so that would be it. That we're nothing quite changes here. It's still the same thing, just a different pattern. Very simple, up and down. That again is being automated to pitch, and as I mentioned earlier, we have some macros going on that change over time. There's filter cutoffs and the macros from the pigments synth itself, which would be these ones right here. Okay, What else? What else? There comes this thing that originally it was, I planned to like make some more with it, but it ended up being the substitution for the pad right here, because I didn't want to just use it throughout the whole song. So I, instead of making this like the lead synth, I made a background out of this, because as you can see, this is just a bunch of fucking notes stacked on top of, almost stuck on top of each other, which gives this cool effect that it wanders a little bit, and that's because of the autopan here. And where did we map this envelope? Oh. You know, we're not gonna get into the details of that, because as I mentioned, I did some envelope following and just mapped it to different spots. Like, for, as I mentioned earlier, the envelope from the bass going to the balance of the drum elements, stuff like that. You can, like, there's literally infinity of things you can. It's like LFO, but based on the sound that actually comes out of the synths. So that's fun. It gives you basically modifying the music by the music itself, you know, so that's cool. What else? Yeah, this is another preset, slightly modified. I need to finally get into the sound design and learn how to do it from scratch, but for now this is called Piercer. And again, width reduced, because there's a lot of white elements going there already. I didn't want to make it, you know, too much in the same spot. Slightly shifting, slightly, again, multiband stuff. Reduced ambience with the multiband compressor, so that it isn't as huge as it was originally, because when, as I mentioned, there was this stacking notes, and when a lot of these, by the end of the section, it's, you can really say there's, the stacking is a little bit too much. So to kind of counteract it, I use this, and yeah, the only thing that changes is slight dancing around the notes at the end. A lot of these are based on the... Can I show this now? Somehow. I'm just gonna slap it in. This is a sequencer called... How it's called? Harmony Bloom from Mario Nieto. I will leave the link again in description. Pretty cool stuff, quite cheap, and you can use it as a bass, because that's mostly how I use the sequencers. I get like the bass that is some sort of funky geometrical shape, and then I adapt it slightly, move things around to make it sound more interesting. Anyways, what's next? Oh yeah, because we have some... Okay, so there's the risers. That's just quite... Yeah, we probably could get to the... Let's call it drop. So what I did here is I took the riser from before. Hold up, let me do this. I know this is very professional. Like, if you expected a professionally edited video with a bunch of, you know, stuff right in your face, usable, like, this is not the placement. I'm just gonna ramble about this shit. Anyways, I took the riser, I reversed it, I stretched it a lot so that it's apart of the rising before the drop. And then we also slapped tilt EQ automated on the whole thing. So as you may see here, and you can't see it because yep, it does this funky stuff, and it does this on all the tracks because it's modulated in main. And then we also, I think, automated the pitch. Yep, so it rises, so then you can feel the rise from 3 different spots, right? You have the frequencies, you have the riser, whatever. And you have the pitch getting up on the main element that you can hear, which linked together with the wonderful laughs from the quote just give this rather... I mean, it's the first like rise/drop I did.
As long as the music's loud enough, we won't hear the world falling apart.
And now, what I did, I took this riser, I believe, and then I recorded it into this reverb, which is like, this isn't your casual reverb, you know, this shit goes places. So highly recommend trying it out. It's also free. It can give some insane effects. Really haven't heard anything even comparable to that. But coming back to this, so this is basically the riser reversed, the reverb of the riser reversed, and then added some cool stuff right here. So basically we have envelope modulation, we have some really weird auto panning, and we have an effect that I will also link in the description if I don't forget. Like, if there's something missing in the description, it was meant to be, guys. I can't really fucking follow up with all this stuff. It's too much. It is too much. But what it does is essentially modulating the frequencies in a way that basically gives the sample completely different light, because, you know, usually after a drop you would expect some continuation of that energy, but I was like, you know what, fuck you, we're gonna do a little bridge, if you will. So yeah, so this is, you can see why this sounds so weird now. Probably could have make it a little bit more quiet, but oh well. And yeah, in the background you have heard this voice coming up, and this is the third bass line. That is another preset, slightly modulated, a verb pressure bass. Whoa. Anyways, as you can see, same shit all over the place. Here I've made some mid-side EQ because we've already had a lot of side on the stuff, a lot of stuff on the sides. So yeah, and we have basically 2 patterns going here. First is this that then switches to this slightly quiet at the beginning, and it goes slightly louder as we go along, and again it's just so that it fits the rest of the track. What else? Yeah, then we have, as I mentioned, the continuation of the previous bass line. there's like 3 or 4 hits. It just goes on continually. Also slightly modulated, and I think that's pretty... Oh, and the one thing I forgot, because we got to... Now you understand why this is here, because it wasn't here before, and now I added the effects that was on the reversed reverb stuff, and I just slapped it onto the kick dub, which isn't kick anymore because we delayed it so hard, and it does this funky stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, at the end we just reduced the tempo a bit to close off the song. We are getting rid basically of all the instruments. The kicks are getting more sparse, and yeah, that's the thing. That's the song. That's what happened. Thank you for sticking out for so long. If you did, I have just opened up a Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com. So, you know, if you have too much money and the crown's getting heavy on your head, you can you can go there. There isn't much stuff there at the moment. I just open it. I think I might do some Patreon-like stuff and just, you know, for example, post the project file so you can just open it up and do your own stuff with it if you want. But for now, that's it. Thank you again. Have a great day. Goodbye.